favourite services of the year. We've been doing it for years and years and years, but my memory of those early years is that less than 20 people came in here very quietly. They were all very shy and they were sort of whispering. And now a big group come in for the Saturday night. They're all talking and greeting one another. And isn't it wonderful that this community has grown in such confidence, and that Irish society has grown and opened their minds and they're far more tolerant. There's still work to be done, but it is going in the right direction. So it's lovely to be here again. It's lovely to be finished, we hope, with COVID. The service, in a way, I still remember the first one when I thought of, let's read the names of people who have lost their lives because of issues of gender identity. And I, as you do now, you Google it. But there were 47 pages of names, and that horrified me. It really, I found it heartbreaking. So in a way, it's a very sad service because we've come to remember people. But it's also, I think, we should make it a service of celebration and thanksgiving for the people who work to make everyone's life better and more inclusive. So I hope you're all going to relax with one another and enjoy the evening, and there'll be a cup of tea and a chat at the end of the service. We have opening words for our openings here. Let us open our minds to reason and to accepting differences. Let us open our hearts to healing and love. Let us open our lives to the calling of our individuality and open our souls to joy, astounded by the miracle of life, grateful for the gift of companionship, confident in the power of community when we work together, we gather in thanksgiving. Our chalice lighting. At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of people who have lighted the spark within us. We light our chalice in memory of lost family and friends, in gratitude for those who have rekindled the light in us, and in thanksgiving for the support of TENI and all the trans community. Now we're going to have lots of music in our service tonight, and we're going to have our first piece right now.
we will stand proud and bold. And with our friends around us, yes, we can rise above it all. We stand before this altar and we say what we need to say, and we pray for souls departed on this our Remembrance Day. Yes, we will light our candles and we will sing our songs, and we will pray for those departed on this our Remembrance Day. Oh, Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day.
First speaker is Lynda.
This part, I'll try and remember what I wrote. Right, okay. This year, for me, marks the 17th year since I walked into this church, our same-sex marriage blessing. And I thought, how wonderful. It gave me a hope in some sort of religion in a spiritual way again, that I could trust this as a home, a spiritual home for our community. And from the following year on, myself and Sara had collaborated in this 16 years, I think, Sara, is it 16 years? Yeah. I thought about some words and how to address this tonight, and I repeated some of this before, and I thought about something that Winston Churchill said when he said, "The world is encased in an earthen curtain." We were encased in an earthen curtain. And then I thought about the words of Nelson Mandela. Education is the greatest weapon we have, and we can use it to change the world. And this is what our community done throughout the years. We used education, education, education. And we did somewhat change the world. Unfortunately, in the past year it has been very hard on our community in the Irish media, which is a shame. But we're all stronger than that, and every one of you here tonight counts for 1,000 others out there, because we go out and we talk and we greet people and they see we're just ordinary people, that probably some of us have an extraordinary struggle. Tonight we also incorporate our non-binary, trans, non-binary and intersex community, who often suffer also suffer the same indignities in life and fight for equality. So I'm just going to finish this little piece that was inspired to me by someone unknown. So I kind of switched around a little bit that might be fitting of our own struggles. Without darkness, we may never know how bright the stars shine. Without battles, we would never have known how victory feels like. Without adversity, we may never appreciate the abundance in our life and acceptance. And misunderstandings give misunderstandings a chance to come true, to change. Be thankful not only for the easy times, but for every experience that have made us who we are today. We have a lot to be proud of and thankful for, because we are here today to remember and celebrate our lives and remember those before us. Thank you.
Now we're going to have a little quiet time, and it's a Buddhist meditation. So I want everybody just to unfold the arms, put your feet on the ground, hands down, and it's a sort of a prayer and meditation wishing peace. So you can close your eyes if you want to do this and say, you begin with wishing peace and happiness for yourself. May I be peaceful and happy in mind and body. May I be free from all hatred and unhelpful states of mind. May I see the beauty and goodness in my soul. May I learn how to nourish myself with joy each day. May I live peaceful and free each day of my life. The next part of this meditation is where you give the same thoughts to the people in your life that you love, and you can include as many people as you want. And we wish that these people we love and who love us may be peaceful and happy in mind and body. May they be free from hatred and all unhelpful states of mind. May they learn to see the beauty and goodness of their soul. May they know how to nourish themselves with joy each day. May they live peaceful and happy every day of their lives. The next part is slightly more difficult because we're going to give the same wishes to people we don't like, people who mightn't like us, people who have hurt us. But for them too, we make the same wish, that they be peaceful and happy in body and in mind. May they be free from hatreds and unhealthful states of mind. May they see the beauty and goodness of their soul. May they know how to nourish themselves with joy each day. And may they live peaceful, free, full of compassion every day of their lives. Now we'll extend those wishes to include everyone. May every living being be peaceful and happy in mind and body. May every being be free from hatred and all unhelpful states of mind. May all beings see the beauty and goodness in their soul. May all beings learn to nourish themselves with joy each day. And may they live peaceful, free lives of compassion for other people. It's a lovely silence now. We're just going to open our eyes now and come back from that silence. And Sam is going to say this.
Thank you all for being here today, and I'm really glad to be back here for my first time since COVID. To be here with our community and those who support trans people, especially, and I know that there's a number of these happening around the country, and I think 16 years ago I don't think there's any chance that we would have imagined that there would be a number of these happening in smaller towns, in cities. I'm the new chair of TENI. I've got big shoes to fill. And it's my first time, I guess, being with the community since I took on that role. So this weekend, trans people and those who love us around the world gather to remember those we've lost in the past year. Today we remember in particular the trans people who were murdered, those who died by suicide, those who died as a result of poor healthcare, structural violence, and injustice in all its forms. The year 2022 saw 327 reported murders of trans and gender diverse people between the 1st of October 2021 and the 30th of September 2022. With 222 cases, Latin America and the Caribbean remains the region that reported the most murders. There were 14 cases reported in Europe in the past year. For the first time, there were cases reported in Estonia and Switzerland. And the victims in those countries were migrant, black trans women. Sabrina Houston from Jamaica and Christina Blackstar from Brazil. They were both stabbed to death in their own residences. 36% of the trans people reported murdered in Europe were migrants. Very close to home for us, I think for me, potentially for the first time ever on this island. On January 3rd this year, well, reported anyway. On January 3rd this year, Sen Black, a non-binary tattoo artist, was killed in Downpatrick, County Deana, as the result of a knife attack that took place in broad daylight just outside the apartment at 11 a.m. Despite witnesses attempting to intervene and halt the attack, they were pronounced dead at the scene after emergency services arrived. They were just 28 years old. They'd gone to the police twice, that they'd been verbally abused and threatened just days before. Zen, who was originally from Bangor, was considered by many who knew them to be one of the best tattoo artists in Northern Ireland. We remember today that the violence against trans people is intersectional. The violence that our community experiences cannot be removed from misogyny, particularly trans misogyny. 95% of those murdered globally past year were trans women or trans feminine people. Can't be removed from whorephobia. Half of murdered trans people whose occupation is known were sex workers. And it can't be removed from racism or xenophobia. Of those cases with data on race and ethnicity, racialized trans people make up 65% of the reported murders. As we remember, I also ask you to join in solidarity with other marginalized and minoritized communities whose struggles cannot be divided from our own. We particularly must remember that our community is diverse, and that those who are multiply marginalized within our community must not be left behind as we move forward. These numbers are just a small glimpse into the reality on the ground. Most cases continue to go unreported, and when reported, they receive very little attention. And the numbers read out today also may show the tip of the iceberg when it comes to violence against trans people, premature deaths, and the impact of transphobia. As Lynda said, we as trans people are experiencing an increase in violence and oppression currently. We all feel it, and at times it feels relentless. We are now more visible than ever. There are more and more of our community coming out, disclosing their identities, and more people joining us in support. Now it's time for us to come together as a community and as a society to create a world where trans people can be safe, celebrated, and accepted as our whole selves.
Those statistics are truly horrible, and we will now come forward to light candles on the table to remember those people who died but also to remember people in our own lives who we know and love died. And we remember all the people, particularly those 200 and odd who died just this year.